I'm not gonna have use of the pavilion today for the obvious reason in the background. They're got some kind of function going on. I have no idea what it is. I'm just gonna put this here as an introduction to this video. It's gonna look a little hodgepodgey at times, but I'll encourage you to watch through to the end because there is a consistent theme through it. And then it does introduce the next video, which has a lot of information in it, but this is going to put the context on everything. I truly think the two work together really well, or I wouldn't make this introduction. So I hope you enjoy it. This is a lot of content. It was challenging to make, but fun to make. So here we go. I don't get to get fun in the videos too often. She's kind of a little camera shy, like most Thais. Shy, like? Yeah, I know me. Oh, you're so lit. Come by lit. Why are you small?
I know they will.
Oh. We get the coon paw bonus footage on my iPad, so this is going to be low quality film here. This is an older iPad, but he's on it. Coon paw is on. He was cleaning. This is all trees. All along the back was trees, and he just came over and started doing this. So, just had another inquiry if we had a Hong Wong room available, room free. But my knee, we do not have. I mangled that pretty bad. It's Hong Wong room free. But anyway, so there's Kim's birthday bicycle. I got him. There's mine. So, oh, Kunpa was working on the gate today, or he's gonna Chuum is welding. He's need to Dong Tam Chuum need to do some welding, and then I think I want to suggest we paint it light blue. Where's my pointer? Not light blue like the house. I'll suggest we paint the Badadu light blue because that one already was blue to begin with. Everyone knows the blue gate here in the village, so kind of go with the theme here maybe. Little bit of a segue here. Bear with me, then we're going to connect into yet another video after this one. You know, I guess I'd be lying if I said it wasn't intriguing. It's just, I am a retired small business entrepreneur. It is just tempting to try to do something here and make some investments, and I just naturally see lots of opportunity here. Honestly, I think I see much more opportunity here business-wise than back home. It's just a lot less competition really for a lot of things. But any kind of big investments, just, man, it's just so risky. I'd have to be totally settled in first and have everything already all set on my end, which is not the case. So that's just a big bet no-go. But you know, a service of some kind, because there's no real investment in a service. I'll have to think about that maybe. Right now I'm just full up. I don't have time to do any kind of, or I'd even administer any kind of service opportunity because I'm just full up on me all day. By the time I take care of my physical stuff and relax a little bit and read a little bit, or it takes me, you know, anywhere from 3 days to a week to watch a movie. I just by the time I read a book and do my exercises and go take a walk and maybe help Fawn with something, take my nap. That's it. That's your day. I think I'm less apprehensive about going home. I think I'm settling in on that. It feels good to have the tickets bought already, and it really, really feels good. The number one important thing was my son, and he's taken everything. He has taken everything really well, and he's pretty overtly looking forward to having me back. And again, with his autism and that, I mean, any little tiny thing is like a huge show of enthusiasm for him, relatively speaking. So it's kind of nice. It's very nice. There's that pavilion I sometimes do my videos at. Yeah, so I'm feeling less apprehensive about that, and my back pain is down. That the new rehab I'm self-directing now that I know the fusion's no bueno. That's better. So still hurts like a bitch, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. It was really getting like, shit, I'm gonna get driven to the hospital and have to have this frickin' surgery like tomorrow. It was getting that bad, and we're backed away from that, so that's good. Still waiting on the radiologist report. I was told this week, it's Wednesday, I'm going to say, I'm not going to, you can't really bother someone that's doing you a favor, you know, so I figured give them a week or so and then, you know, send a text, ask them how it's going, if maybe ask if they need anything. Hopefully I hear before then. I was trying to make a decision whether I wanted to go before the wedding. I do have a motivation to kind of look my reasonable best. I suppose that's not an uncommon sentiment. I doubt I'm the first person in the history of the world to feel that way. So I was debating whether I wanted to hit the clinic for a HIFU at the clinic or just do it myself. I think I'm just going to manage it on my own through diet and using the my new HIFU and RF machine. Yeah, just picking restaurants that we're going to go to with my son, and it's just nice. And we should have the 2-bedroom apartment by then. Should have the new apartment. So I'll have gotten, I mean, really, I had this huge list of like monster things to change my life. It was like 5 or 6 things to totally, you know, hang on, I'm going to get into a whole long conversation on that. Let me take a break here and sit down for a minute. I want to shoot some video here, but it's a pretty strong wind, and I'd like that view in the background. I think it'd just be kind of nice for everybody to see, but that's one of the, this is Fawn's campus. This is the facility she runs. There's multiple government offices on this campus, but the educational building she runs. This is the shared pavilion. Hang on. This is the shared pavilion for training. She might have this all going all by her little self, be administering some event training. It'd be an educational outreach, a community outreach of some kind if she's doing something here. I have to be careful too that my social data or my social picture of things doesn't get too skewed, because she, in her classes, she helps a lot of the students that need extra help, socially maybe, or just people that have needed a little extra help and have maybe made a couple bad choices in their life. So I try to take that into account and not, you know, and I always ask Fawn, I mean, is that normal, is that, I never say, oh, I saw this, that means everybody's like, I never do that. I've been accused of that a couple of times on the channel. I get that people don't know me and have no clue what I'm really doing, but I'm pretty careful. I'm real careful, actually. Well, gosh, Murphy's Law. As soon as I open up the camera, somebody turns on a weed whacker. The Thai weed whackers are equally as annoying as the Western ones we have. I don't know if that's loud or not. I'm going to have to do a sound test. Hang on. Hear the weed whacker hardly at all, so he's kind of moved on behind the building, so problem seems to have resolved itself on multiple fronts. So I actually have written content for today, which is super rare. Regular viewers of the channel will know this. I started with 5, ended up with 10. 10 steps that changed my life. That sounds dramatic. Need like some dramatic music or something, but I'd have to pay. I get shut down on YouTube for copyright infringement. Where were all those people when my patents were being ripped off and I just sue on my own? Now I can't take a breath without getting like infringing on something. When people were infringing on my stuff, and they were dang well doing it on purpose too. And this isn't fair. Being a small inventor is a real hard life, by the way. That's everybody thinks you just think of something and you sit back and make money and you're done. It's so the opposite of that. I was in the 1% of inventors. They say less than 1% make money on their invention, which is easy to believe. And I consistently got praised that my stuff was generally in business. I did very few things that didn't end up in business. Okay, so here's some things I did. And this is for the guy, and this is going to be a male perspective. This is going to be a middle-aged or senior male perspective, Western male. Obviously, that's all I know. That's all I can speak to. I don't have experience as a young black woman. I just don't have that experience. Wouldn't feel comfortable in telling you how to do that. I have seen this before, and I used to pity these guys, and then I was surprised that I became one. That I mean, I knew I wasn't super happy in my life, but I made myself happy, and so I knew my circumstances weren't ideal, and I knew that I wasn't in like real happy circumstances, but I was successful daily in making myself happy, and I'd built a good life around myself. I learned that lesson from my art teacher, Mr. Horning. He's probably no longer with us by now. He wasn't a spring chicken back in the 70s, so although he was alive as of 5 or 7 years ago, which I was happy to hear, but also shocked the hell out of me when I learned that. Tried to get a chance to meet him, but I wasn't able to make the connection. Too bad. But he taught me inadvertently. He taught me a great life lesson. He was this quirky, really eccentric man. He's an art teacher, so right. He drove a Carmen Ghia back before they were popular. Now they're a collector's car, but back then nobody wanted a Carmen Ghia. He drove an orange Carmen Ghia. If you could be any more eccentric, I don't know of a car that would telegraph that to everyone. Of course, it was an old piece of crap because he's an art teacher. I don't know what they pay you as an art teacher, but I doubt it was a six-figure salary back in the 1970s. Oh, and here was this, and I could even see as a young kid that he was having trouble like engaging successfully with other adults, and that he was maybe not a real robust individual, you know. Okay, not to be mean, I loved the guy, I really did. He taught me a lot. I can clearly picture him as I'm telling the story. And I loved art. I'm a visual guy, as you can probably tell by the way I talk about certain things here, and I am, and who isn't, I suppose, but I'm pretty visual. And, you know, but then I realized that this guy that maybe wasn't the highest functioning adult in my life at the time had built this little happy corner of the world for himself. He functioned, he paid his bills, he had his little car that he liked, and he did art for a living, and he didn't have anybody really bothering him that I could see. And I thought, well, geez, well, maybe that's the point of life. And here I am at like, you know, age 13 maybe. And I'm thinking, maybe that's the point of life, is to build like a happy little corner of the world for yourself. That's what I kind of concluded and drew from that. And I know nothing at this point, some 45 years later, that would say that's wrong. And also, it makes me sad that that was 45 years ago, or more than that. And so, letting that all soak in and ruminate and marinate. So then I fast forward, you know, and I was in a long-term stable marriage. Okay, it was a stable marriage, you know. If I would have just continued to play ball with the rules that my first wife had defined, I could have stayed married. That was absolutely a choice I could have continued to make. But I had noticed a number of other men around my age, you know, maybe 5 years younger, maybe 5, 10 years old, whatever, you know, and they were not happy with the choices they had made, with the circumstances that they had then found themselves in. They were not so happy anymore. And I pitied them, and to be honest, I kind of looked down on them a little bit. I thought, oh, who are these guys? You know, they're not able to keep a long-term marriage together, probably selfish, you know. I don't know why I did this. Maybe I was, you know, there's no point in getting going down that road. That's a 20 video series, but nobody wants to watch, including me. But you get the idea, you know, and then some years later, probably more like 10 years later, I found myself starting to look around, and regular viewers will know this. It was my spine really quickly unraveled through the gyms being shut. I was a super crazy workout maniac. I was a gym rat. I was semi-retired already, out of necessity. I knew I had, you know, bad back. You know, who doesn't have a bad back, right? So no big deal. But when COVID shut all the gyms down, I couldn't do my therapy anymore. After a couple of months, my back began to kind of unravel, and then it went. I was apparently just barely keeping it together by a razor's edge, and I had no idea that that's how close it was. As soon as I was unable to do my PT on a regular daily, and I was doing 2 hours a day, okay? As soon as I couldn't do that, things just went bad, and then as soon as they went a little bit bad, it it accelerated. And to put a fine point on it, I had been weighing whether I should have a spinal fusion or not for the last decade, and the doctors, and I get different second and third opinions because this is important, right? You know, your back, right? You know, you don't have too many of those. And so, and it was always like, well, let's wait. So I knew you have to wait until you really just have absolutely no choice. Like any ethical surgeon will tell you, you really don't want to have that surgery until if you have any choice, because the technology they have is not great. It's nothing even remotely close to a repair. It's not even a Band-Aid. It's really kind of a butcher job, and that's all they're able to do. And a really honest surgeon in private will tell you those words, okay? But it got to the point where, shit, anything was, I mean, I was barely walking, like barely able to. I was looking at like, okay, well, a wheelchair sucks. I don't want to do that. So I guess we're doing the surgery. You know, surgery sounds good. Let's do that. You know. But that put a timetable on me, because then it was like, well, geez, do I want to spend? I mean, how many more years of mobility do I have? I'm not happy. This kind of sucks. Socially, emotionally, romantically. Just in terms of like my heart. I mean, I don't care if you're think you're made of stone or not. You don't need these when I got the mic. Whether or not you think you're made of stone, you're going to care if people love you or not. You're going to care if you're hated or despised or not. And you're going to care. I mean, unless you're, a different kind of person, I suppose, from me. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. So all that to say, that put a fine point on it for me, and I began to take steps, as they say. So this ended up with being, it kind of did stop organically at 10, which sounds like a fake number, but 10 steps I took that changed my life. 10 steps that I did take that did change my life. And they're kind of in order, I think. First. Sorry, I absolutely have to break this up into another video. So the main vlog is here, and the next thing you're going to hear after this is my dramatic conclusion, which is kind of humorous, knowing how this goes. I just can't take any more crap anymore. Anyway, so that's my vlog. I have to break this up into a couple parts. I don't know. Sorry if I have to do that to you. My name is Rob, and thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. I meant every word I just said with respect.